Okay, we're live. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar. I'm Emma Bukovica, and I will be talking about how you can promote your event for Football People Action Weeks using some PR and marketing tools. My aim is to share some tips with you on how you can spare your budget on your PR and do it yourself and invest some of it in an effective online marketing. Today with me is Mariana Lindholm from FAIR, who would like to say a few words to you before I begin. And later on, we will have also Nick Connell to say a few words about how you can use video content to promote your event. Mariana, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar on PR tips to promote an event. We have partnered up with Emma and Nick from Ebecoms and Football Beyond Borders Productions to give you some insights on how you can maximize publicity around your Football People activities or any other event that you organize in the future. We hope this is helpful, and after the webinar, we will send out a questionnaire so you can give us your feedback. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mariana. Nick, you do it?
Hi, sorry, this is Nick just saying hello as well. I'll speak a bit more in a bit.
Okay, thank you. Okay, just give me a few seconds to share my screen so I can start with my presentation. Can you see my presentation now? Yes.
Yes, can.
Okay. Okay. So the main goal of this webinar is to show you how PR can help you take your event to another level, improve its quality, engage more people and media with your event. I want you to know a few interesting facts about PR first, and that is that PR is two-way communication. We build PR on a story. People relate better with a story than with a commercial. So create stories and share them with your audience and with your journalists too. Later, I will show you which tools you can use to create a story about your event and how to do it. Then, comparing to marketing, which is promotional communication, PR is an informative communication. PR is simply a news you want to spread around. You're probably thinking right now, oh, we have to have a big budget for this, but you can actually earn a free publicity with just a few tips. Create attractive story, which is in public interest. For example, you're talking about position of women in sport in your country, and then you mention your event and who is the organizer. Here, you emphasize the importance of your topic for the society. That attracts media to cover your story. Second, if you have good media relations, this means you know how to approach media, you know journalists, so you can create a good media mailing list and contact each of them pitching the story. Don't worry, if you don't, you can start doing all of this today. Third, if you use a non-commercial approach, what does this mean? As said before, keep in focus what is your event about. Don't put your organization in the first line, but the group of people you're doing this for. For example, instead of saying FAIR is the organizer of the tournament for children with special needs, you might say a tournament for children with special needs taking place in our city. That's completely fine. And then you tell a story and mention the name of the organization. PR has its steps of the process. If we have an event in mind and want to do a PR for it, if we say what media I'm going to use for this, we don't start thinking from the right place. But if we say, what am I going to say to media and how am I going to tell this story to make it more attractive, more interesting, exciting, important for public, which also means sticky for media, then it means we are starting from the right place. So the first step in PR process is creating a story, creating a strategy. When I say story, I don't mean only a press release, but the whole story about the event. A Second step is distributing our story, sending it out through media. There are many ways of how we can distribute our story, but two basic ways are sending it to media and B, doing it online using social media. I would like to emphasize the importance of social media, but please make sure you cover traditional media such as TV, newspapers, radio stations, magazines, news web portals, etc. It's not that complicated, really. They still have a credibility in telling a story to people. This is where choosing a non-commercial approach in telling your story matters the most. Later, I will talk about some PR tools which you can use for sending out your story. I will also share some tips about doing PR online using social media. The third step in PR process is measuring PR, collecting a press clipping and reusing it, recycling the content we got from the media. When we have our news published, we are not done with PR. We need to check if what we did was effective, if it changed anybody's opinion or actions. And also links and videos you get from the media, you can republish it on your Facebook page, on your Twitter account, Instagram. There are some methods for measuring PR, but I'm not sure you will need this for this event. Just make sure you track your story and collect links and press clipping. It will be useful later for your report to FAIR too. In this step, you can use one very useful Google application to help you track your content. I personally use it a lot. That is Google Alerts. It's free. It's very simple. So all you have to do is to submit search terms, and Google will send you links where they have been published. Simply go to google.com/alerts, and it's all there. Hope you got a clear picture of this route. If you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat box next to this video on YouTube, and I'll make sure I read them later in the Q&A session if there are any questions, of course. If you're shy to type your questions there, you can email me on my email, emma@tvcoms.com. I'll show it later in my presentation, and I'll respond later maybe after this webinar. Another useful thing is media partnership. It's something we use a lot to boost our visibility in traditional media for our events. We usually choose one TV station, one radio station, one newspaper, at least one web portal and magazine, and offer them a partnership. What is this exactly? You basically ask media to sponsor your event by giving you media coverage instead of money. You commit to place their logo equally with other sponsor logos. You offer them exclusive news and marketing placement and get coverage in return. This is something you do by simply contacting marketing offices or of media houses via email for meetings. Let me move now to PR tools, which you can use to distribute your news. I'll explain you some basic PR tools that could be useful to you in organizing an event for actually weeks, and those are press release, mailing lists, press conference. There are many more, but as said before, these could be useful to you. We are not a PR agency. I will start with a press release. Whether we call it a press release, a press statement, a news release, or a media release, we are always thinking about the same basic thing, which is an official announcement that an organization issues to the news media and beyond. Most press releases are just a page long, 2 pages tops, doesn't have to be too long. Also make a note that when doing an event, you can always do at least 2 press releases. One to announce the event, and second to report on how it went. Don't forget to publish this information on your website. So you immediately have a link to share on your social media. I hope you have a website. It's kind of a basic thing. Also, one more thing to remember, always pitch your story to journalists before you send out a press release. Say what you're doing and why is it a good story for him or her to cover it. Then say you're going to send a press release. When will you send the press release out? The best time to send out the press release is before 11 a.m. But in case you're sending some urgent information, you can put in the corner a note for immediate release. I'm not sure you will need to use for immediate release. Just make sure you pitch your news to journalists before sending it out to every media redaction. Who will you send your press release to? You send a press release to your media list in your country that you created out of contacts that you collected. Instead of blasting a press release out to every journalist, you can find an email focus on few journalists who have experience covering topics such as yours and send them personalized messages. It is ideal to know journalists in redactions that are compatible with your content, so you can always phone them after you send a press release to check if they received it and if you provided enough information for them to create a story. Make sure you publish a press release on your website, blog, as well as sharing the press release with your followers, subscribers via social media and email. If all goes according to plan and your press release gets picked up by the media, your job still isn't finished. To keep the buzz going, you can release a second wave of distribution by sharing the specific stories that news outlets write based on your press release. I guess the most difficult question here is how to write a press release. Let's start with a title. Title has to be sticky, irresistible, has to be attractive, has to be written in the present time. You only have one line to work with, which can seem scary, but consider diction carefully to make your headline captivating. Use clear, understandable language, and keep your headline simple and short. Most importantly, make it interesting. Keep in mind that reporters get dozens, if not hundreds, of releases every day, so invest the time to write a compelling headline. Step number 2 is make sure you add the date in the corner above the title. Step number 3 would be a body of the press release or the text. First paragraph is where you answer to 5 basic questions: who, what, when, where, why. And second paragraph is where you explain the title and give a bit more details about the information from the first paragraph. In third paragraph, you can offer a quote. You set the scene. It's time to bring your details to life with a quote that reporters can use for context around your announcement and help paint a picture of how your news affects the society. As you absolutely must not be subjective and use any glorification in your press release, this is your chance to write a personal opinion on the subject. What does this mean? You cannot say the best tournament or ever happened or the best event. That's something a person has to say, and you can say it in a quote here. In the last paragraph, keep in mind that the reader already has all of the vital details and information they need to file a story or spread the word. Here you can comment on future implications of your announcement, or just share some information about the project or organization in general. When you're done with the body of the press release, you need to add your contact information. You can type in the footer or on the top of the paper in the left corner, offer your email address and phone number. Don't forget photos. make sure that landscape photos are most useful to media. They're more useful than portrait photos, for example. For news portals, they usually use this kind of format of photos, so make sure you make those. Do not send too big or too small resolution. Around 1 megabyte is just fine. If you edit somebody's quote, make sure you add the photo of that person as well. Take photos during the whole time of organizing your event and share them on your social media accounts. Instagram is a very popular platform for photo sharing, so be there. Don't forget to use hashtag football people when you post on social media. And then I'll say a few words about video before I invite Nick to speak. Video is also an effective content that can make a story more interesting. You can use few online applications for creating short stories and upload them on your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You don't have to be professional nowadays to create short videos for social media. I personally use video for this purpose. You can create just 60 seconds video story with square format for Instagram and Facebook and use them as posts on your social media. I'll just go back and invite Nick to speak.
Hello, Europe. So
Yeah,
I always wanted to say that.
Hold on a second.
Oh. Hello. Good afternoon. So FAIR have engaged me and the company I run, FPB Productions, to help them with their video output this year from the Football People Action Weeks. Saw some of the videos from last year, some great work. So I want to encourage you all to get back into it this year and to make more video content, as it's the best way of telling those stories, really visual way of telling the stories. I'll tell you a little bit about what we're doing centrally this year and how that might affect you. So currently we're putting together a promotional video which features footage that you sent in last year. We're going to make this available tomorrow to you to share on your networks, to media locally and European-wide as well, and also other outlets, encouraging them to use the video on their own social networks, as well as supporting FAIR. So, and then through the Football Action Weeks, we're going to, with Mariana, we're going to select a few projects where we're going to contact you individually and work on developing a video that we'll edit back in London and promote via FAIR as well. So keep making this video content, make your own please, but we'll also be in touch about some other stuff. And then when we finish, we'd like to do a roundup of the whole 2 weeks to show what a fantastic couple of weeks it's been, and to show off your work. So when the event's finished, we'll contact you again, but please upload all the videos that you've made. Even if they haven't gone into a video that you've edited, we'd still be interested in using for this final film. So more information will come about that. We're going to talk a little bit, so the types of video there, Emma mentioned the different stuff you can do on Facebook, Instagram. Really encourage you to do that, as well as live videos. So I've got a few tips for you around live videos, best way to promote them and to run them, and also some tips on shooting on your mobile phone. I saw last year, it was great that some of you have professional crews and will be using them this year. That's brilliant. But if you want to shoot some stuff on your mobile, it's so cheap and so easy, and it's just really personal as well. It's so I'll just go through those tips, and then if you have any other questions, we can share my contact details with Mariana's and Emma's, and you can ask me, but we'll be in touch again about that. So yes, please, Emma, can you bring up the
okay, I'll share my screen again and find your notes. Can you see my screen? Can you see your notes?
There you go. Okay, thank you very much. So yes, so first of all, live video. So if you're promoting and producing it, the main thing is to let people know that you're going to go live, because if you don't tell them, you're not going to have a viewers. People will get notifications, but they won't know until after the event. So do a tune-in message with a rough approximate time of when you're going to go live ahead of going live on the video. within that message, write a strong description before, so people will be interested in watching. They want to know it's something interesting that's worth their while. Make sure to have a strong Wi-Fi or 4G connection. If not, well, it just won't work. So be sure to test out where you're going to do your live broadcast from before you do. With the live format, some of you might have already done that yourselves, or have been involved in either side, but viewers can ask questions and comment as you go. So it's really good to engage with people when you're doing it, to talk a bit about what you're doing and answer their questions. That will really encourage them more people to comment, and which will grow engagement and viewers. And on Facebook, once you're live, make sure you let people know they can tap the follow button. So if you're going to go live again, they can do that. They can make sure that they never miss you again. And big thing, shoot landscape, not portrait, because and you can set with Facebook, you need to do it for your live and the other platforms. Have it set in landscape, not portrait. So yeah, there's some key tips. I'm sure these can get shared with you afterwards. And then these other tips actually tie into the live side as well, but these are for whether your live videos, whether it's for your own video that you want to post-produce, or footage you're going to send into Fair centrally for us to edit and distribute back. So lighting, yeah, never shoot into the light. It just totally, you'll have a really dark sort of people featured. These cameras definitely can't handle that. You shouldn't really with any camera, but especially with mobile phones. Audio is key, because the audience is very used to stuff shot on their mobile phones these days. It does, the quality is great. The better you get it, of course, is fantastic. But audio is key. If people can't hear it, they can't engage. They won't engage. So be sure to be close enough for the internal mic on your phones to work. Maybe test it again beforehand. Also be aware of your environment, other noise about. And also there's external microphones on the market that you can plug in that definitely do add something to the sound when you're doing this. So yeah, just be aware of that audio at all times. Generally get up close, again, because these cameras, they can zoom, but I'm sure you've got experience, the closer you zoom, the more shake you get. So just, yeah, get up close, and that'll work both for the audio and for the picture. And yeah, that's a really key one. Again, landscape, not portrait. Portrait just, it's interesting with the Instagram and the Facebook videos, they are often different dimensions to YouTube and Twitter, but still best to shoot landscape, because it's easier to crop that than it is to extend a portrait. That just won't work. So please, everything landscape. Keep it steady. Also a difficult one with the mobile phones being so light. It can be quite difficult. And again, once you've zoomed in, there's a few ways of sort of doing this. One is getting a small tripod, or a small, they're pretty cheap from online retailers these days, or just be very aware when you're filming, someone with a steady hand to do the filming for you. And then the last is a really simple idea of videos from the sort of, and images is one of the most basic ideas around composition. So it's the rule of thirds. It's all about where you place your subject or the action. There's a video I've included there that's really simple and explains it in a couple of minutes. I think that's probably easier than me sort of going through it here. So yeah, those are the key tips. Really encourage you to shoot as much as possible. You'll see coming back from us that we will use this, and it will be broadcast around Europe. We're speaking to various media outlets ourselves, doing PR on this side as well to get some sort of international recognition from this. And yeah, we'll start delivering videos, so stay tuned for them. And I think that's it for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nick. I'll go back. Oh, I lost your audio. You there? Should I go back to my presentation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm finished. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you, Nick, again. So the next PR tool that you can use to announce your event is a press conference. It's just something you can do to boost visibility of your event. A news conference or a press conference is a media event in which you invite journalists to hear you speak and most often ask questions. You can have a press conference on the day of your event to announce what is going to happen, for example. These are things you need to think of when organizing a press conference. Location. It could be the place of your event or simply a conference room. Invite media via email, sending exact information about time, location, subject of the press conference, speakers, who is going to speak. Think about logistics, microphones, table, person to welcome media and record their presence. Make sure you have names and contact information of everyone who attended the press conference so that you use those information to send them a press release after the conference. Prepare the press kit that is printed materials about the organization. It's print out of your press release, etc. This is something you give to journalists at their arrival. The press conference could be an opening to your event. Why not? Influencers. Choose influential people who can help you in promoting your event. You can ask them to tweet about it, post on Facebook, or simply create his or her photo with a statement and share it online. You can also ask your media partners, if you have some, to do an interview with your influencer about the topic of your event and then mention the event. This is exactly the non-commercial approach that I was talking about before. This could be a person who is a participant of your event. This is the point of having an influencer. You simply use their relevant voice to talk about your project. Another thing that I use a lot in my work, and I think it could be useful for organizing an event, and that is content marketing. That is strategic process focused on creating and distributing valuable, relevant, and consistent content to attract and retain a clearly defined audience, and ultimately to drive profitable action. When I'm saying profitable, this is marketing. We use it a lot in business, but you can use it in an event organization. For example, newsletter is content marketing tool. You have your mailing list, you can add media in that mailing list, just send out your newsletter monthly or twice a month. You can create blogs, vlogs, ebooks, depends what's your content. Simply said, here you use tools such as infographics, blogs, e-posters, newsletters, ebooks, applications to offer relevant content and position yourself as an expert in your field. For example, this webinar might be a good content marketing for me and the agency I work for. While I was talking about step number 2 in PR process, which is distributing the story, these tools can help you reach the media and your audience online and for free. Think about how you can use some of this stuff to promote your event. If you need any help or advice in doing this later on, feel free to contact me. Here is one example of content marketing use for the event. This October, our agency is launching a campaign on anti-discrimination and inclusion in football, which we will close with a conference. We have made a collaboration with the Faculty of Journalism in Sarajevo and asked students to create a leaflet on 5 rules how to report on discrimination in football. That is one example of offering a useful content to promote your event. We will upload the leaflet in a digital form and offer it for free download, and also share it to media at the conference in printed version. Facebook, one of the major steps in modern communication is having a Facebook page. Having a page is not all you need to do. There's more. Keep it updated for the beginning. Share all of your content, links to your blogs, photos, videos, links from media where your news got published, etc. Once you publish something interesting, you can invest some money in Facebook marketing by boosting your post. And you can also go live on Facebook. I think Nick was saying something about that. So how you boost your post? There is manage ads. Simply go to ads manager. And then to boost your post, and make sure you add at least $1 or €1 a day, which is a minimum budget. The best thing about Facebook marketing is that you can target your audience by their interests, location, age group, gender. Who could think of anything better for the marketing? If your page doesn't have some serious number of likes, you can go to promote page and invest some money in that. It will bring more people to your page who are interested in content such as yours. On the left side of your page, you will notice a promote button. When you click on it, choose the last option if you want to promote the page. And don't forget, social media is an interactive media. Respond to comments and messages. Make your page an interesting place to hang out. And use hashtags. Not only on Facebook, but in other social media too. These are links under which one can see all posts with the same hashtag simply by searching them. So make sure you get there in their search feed. You can also live stream your event on Facebook, I said that, and don't forget to use football people hashtag. Instagram is a social media where you communicate with posts, with photos and hashtags. You can also link your Facebook page to your Instagram profile and promote your Instagram posts through the same ads manager that I showed you just on Facebook minutes ago. It is simple, cheap, it's effective, and the most important thing, lots of your audience is there. Here's some tips for Twitter. I assume you already know your posts are limited to 140 characters, but you can upload photos and videos to your tweets. Tweet often, use hashtags, interact with others, respond to tweets, retweet others. Make sure that in tweets about your project for Action Weeks, you mention FairNet and use the hashtag. That will be all from me. Thank you for watching. I'll just turn off my screen sharing and see if you have any questions for me. Once again, you can always send it on my email. Okay. Hello from Greece. Hello from Avi, Ukraine. Hello from Romania, from Czech Republic. There's one question. Could you help us with the mailing list contacts? Well, I can help you telling you how you can do it, but I cannot do it for you. But this is how I would do it if I were you in your country with no experience in public relations. I would make a list of media in your country. Start with news agencies, radio stations, TV stations, news portals, freelance journalists that you can think of, and find their websites, their phone numbers, and contact them. Say that you have a press release, you have an interesting story that you want to share, and ask for their email, and I'm sure they will give it to you. And just after you pitch your story, send an email and maintain that relationship, because you will probably need it after for some other thing, and also when your event is finished. It's easy. It's even easy to find people on Facebook or Twitter nowadays. They're normal people, ordinary human beings that you can contact and say, hey, I have a story. I think it's very interesting. Would you be trying to publish it and help us, with our visibility? And that's how you do it. Unfortunately, I don't know where you're from. Dragons, they're something. I don't know where you're from, so I don't have mailing list for your country. If there's other questions, please type it now before we end, or send it to my email. It's emma@ebcoms.com. We have 12 people watching now. Okay, should we finish now? I don't think we have any questions coming. Mariana, do you have anything else to say?
No, just say thank you to everyone that watched the webinar. And yes, if you have any questions on any of the topics, contact us or Emma or Nick. We'll be happy to help you.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll make sure you have this recording as a handout and Nick's notes as well. I assume Mariana will send you later. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye.